Okay, so hello, Cathryn here from the Canine Genetics Centre. A very warm welcome to this presentation and thank you very much for listening to it. So this is very much a funding update with regards to the Canine Genetics Centre. We've received an awful lot of help over the last 18 months or so from supporters who have either made financial contributions to our funding situation, either from funds through their clubs and societies or through personal donations, but not only in terms of financial contributions, but people have spent hours and hours, trying to help us out behind the scenes. And I think it's really important that all our supporters have an opportunity to receive sort of regular updates on our funding situation and sort of understand what the bigger picture is. So over the course of the next 15 minutes or so, I'm going to talk you through some of the major milestones that we've reached over the last 18 months or so, what our current situation is. And I hope I'm going to be able to impress upon you how tantalisingly close we are to being able to say that we have some degree of stability for the Genetics Centre going forward. But we're not there yet. And so I hope I'm going to be able to demonstrate how I think all our supporters, all of you, can help us cross a very important line and get us to that situation. So let's get started. So our funding story started really about 18 months ago when in January 2024 I gave an online live presentation that we called Funding Our Future, in which I set out the challenges that we were facing at that time with respect to funding following the withdrawal of a long-term funding from the Kennel Club and the Kennel Club Charitable Trust. And that presentation was viewed by over 550 people, and essentially a major fundraising effort ensued after that presentation. We received pledges and donations from hundreds and hundreds of individuals from the UK and overseas, various breed clubs, societies and other canine organisations, and an outpouring of support, absolutely overwhelming messages of support, which were very valuable actually and sort of strengthened the resolve of myself and the rest of my team to sort of keep on going to make sure that the Genetics Centre was here for the long term. And, with hindsight, they were very, very important messages of support in what was, with hindsight, a very, very stressful time for everybody. But the outcome was that the Genetics Centre was able to remain in operation throughout 2024, and we're still here today. So in November of last year, I gave another presentation, Where Are We Now? And all of these presentations are still available for you to view on our website if anybody didn't see them first time around and would like to go back and watch them now. And in that presentation, I summarised our scientific activity throughout 2024. For me, it's very important that we keep doing science. We're not just here to raise funds. We're here to spend those funds on research that benefit all of dogs. So I summarised what we'd been up to in terms of our research project. I summarised our financial situation in that presentation as well. And I was able to announce a 2-year research agreement that we had signed with the Wisdom Panel, which was an exciting step for us. And this agreement provides specifically funding for our intervertebral disc disease research, amongst other things. And also in that presentation, I announced or introduced our Friends of the Canine Genetics Centre regular giving scheme, which we set up so that our supporters could make modest but regular contributions to the Genetics Centre. And it's the regularity of these donations that's really important for us because it's very helpful to our forward planning. And then in April of this year, I was able to announce that we had received a grant. The trustees of the Jean Lanning Foundation have made a 3-year grant to the Canine Genetics Centre. This is to fund research that will benefit both dogs and humans. It's a very exciting programme of work indeed. And as far as dogs go, specifically it provides funding for our inherited eye disease research. So since 2024, we've been doing other things as well. So we have been able to maintain our ambitious programme of research, which I'm very proud of, because the fundraising challenges have given everybody a lot of extra work to do. But throughout that, we have kept doing research and kept, delivering health benefits for dogs. We've co-authored 8 peer-reviewed publications. So these are the yardstick by which any research group is measured. And to publish 8 papers in less than 18 months is, a very decent output indeed. We have continued to grow our Canine Genetics Testing Service, CAGT, to the point where CAGT now makes a consistent contribution to the running costs of the Genetics Centre on a monthly basis. We've put a lot of work into improving our website and our communications, and I hope those of you who follow us on social media or receive our newsletter will agree with that. I think we're much better at communicating our progress with our followers. And then in March of this year, we held a research day that was attended by dog breeders and various breed representatives. And it was very lovely to be able to award the first of our Friends of CGC Health and Welfare Award. So this is an award. The winner is nominated by people who have signed up to our Friends of CGC regular giving scheme, and they tell us about somebody they know who has a very positive impact on the health and welfare of dogs. And it was an absolute delight to be able to make that our first award to Cathryn Wrigley. This is a picture of the award that she got and Cathryn receiving her award. And this gave me a lot of joy. We've worked with Cathryn for years and years. We have a very good sort of relationship with her, and I know she's an absolute force for good within the dog world. So that was a lovely moment that we had back in March. So now I will move on to just talk about funding in particular. As I have said before, it costs at least £400,000 a year to run the Canine Genetics Centre. That's not set in stone. The more money we have, the more research we can do. But we need, at least £400,000 to maintain our core projects and our core team. So our current sources of funding come from various different places. We have that Wisdom Panel agreement and our Jean Lanning Foundation grant. We have some additional grant funding, including the funding we have from Pet Plan Charitable Trust that's currently funding all our epilepsy research. We have income from canine genetic testing, as I mentioned a minute ago. And we receive regular donations from our grassroots stakeholders, and these continue to be very, very important to the Genetics Centre. And we have our regular donations coming through the Friends of the CGC regular giving scheme. So I thought it was also be a good idea to lay out some sort of funding targets that we have. So back in January 2024, we had one target at that point, really, which was to keep the Genetics Centre in operation for 12 months. That was seemed a sort of large enough task. We had to raise significant amounts of money quite quickly to do that. But the idea was that if we could raise that money and keep us going for a year, that would give us an opportunity to seek longer-term funding to replace the funding that we used to receive from the Kennel Club. Then I suppose I dared to dream that we'd be in a position to be looking for 3-year security, and then obviously long-term security is where we would like to be at eventually. So we've done that. We've ticked the first one. We kept going for 12 months, and as I say, we are very much still here. And so now we are firmly embedded in this second target of 3-year security for us. But we are actually being able now to sort of dip our toe into thinking about long-term security, and I'm going to explain what I mean on the next slide or so. So 3-year security, what do I mean by that? Well, I want to be able to say that for the next 3 years we can keep all our research projects running. 3 years is the length of time of a typical research grant, so it's not unusual for research groups to sort of look, only look 3 years ahead. But I want to know that, yes, we can keep all our research projects going for at least the next 3 years. And importantly, that we are sufficiently resourced and agile enough that we can investigate new and emerging diseases as we hear of them and investigate those quickly. And as I said many times before, these new emerging conditions can appear in any breed at any time. Your DNA mutates, we can't stop it mutating. And so even though a breed may have a slew of DNA tests already, there's always the possibility that new diseases occur. And we are working very closely with a breed at the moment to investigate a pretty distressing disease that's pretty recently come to light. But the Genetics Centre, because we're based in the vet school, we've been able to collaborate with clinicians very quickly. We're already collecting DNA samples and funding. And, there's every chance that we could develop a DNA test for this new disease, within a pretty short time frame. So that's what I mean when I mean that, we're sufficiently resourced. We have all the pieces in place that we can respond quickly if a new inherited disease rears its head. And then I also want to be able to maintain our core team and resources, including our precious DNA sample collection. And again, there's a presentation on our website that's me talking about that sample collection and how important it is. So in terms of our 3-year security and our long-term security, we are actually already tantalizingly close to both of those. So I think, for sure, 3-year security is in sight. And in my mind, the Friends of the Canine Genetics Centre regular giving scheme is going to be key to crossing that line and being safe for the next 3 years at least. And because we already have some friends and we know the size of the average donation and the percentage of donors that we can claim gift aid from, we now know if we can increase our number of friends to 1,000, donations from those friends, together with our other sources of funding, plus our income from our genetic testing service, CGT, will secure the Canine Genetics Centre for 3 years at least until 2028. And crucially, the Genetics Centre's core team and core resources, including our precious DNA sample collection, they will all be secure for the foreseeable future. And this is a position I would not have dared to dream that we could be in today, 18 months ago. And to cross that line would be absolutely transformative for the Genetics Centre. So I'd like to say thank you, first of all, to everyone who is already a friend. Thank you very much. Thank you for your commitment to the Genetics Centre and your regular support. You and other early adopters, if you like to call yourselves that, have given us confidence in the CGC Friends scheme. I would just say, if you're already a friend, please share this message with your friends. Maybe become a Friends of the CGC bore. Perhaps if you talk about it often enough, people will, sign up to shut you up, sort of thing. So if you could persuade anybody else to sign up for the Friends scheme, that would be absolutely amazing. If you're not yet a friend, please consider it. If you could genuinely spare £5 a month or more, that's what £5 looks like. We don't look at real money much anymore, but it's not too much. And if you could spare 5 minutes, that's all it takes. Please become a friend of the Canine Genetics Centre now. You simply have to set up a monthly direct debit for £5 a month or more and enable us to claim gift aid if appropriate. And that's it. If you do become a friend, we have a couple of small incentives to thank you. You'll receive a little lapel pin that we hope you would enjoy wearing and using to share our message. And I think this is the exciting part. You'd be able to nominate somebody for that Friends of the CGC Health and Welfare Award that you saw Cathryn Wrigley receiving in March of this year. So you just have to tell us about somebody that you know personally or who you know of who makes a positive impact on the health and welfare of dogs. And the next award will be made early in 2026. probably sometime between Crufts and Easter, that sort of time. And that award is sponsored by our genetic testing service, CAGT. I've just got a slide here where I maybe go through some of the barriers that, to becoming a friend of the CGC. So if you haven't yet become a friend, is it because you think other organisations should be funding the Genetics Centre? And I guess, the Kennel Club is forefront in most people's minds, or other canine welfare charities. And I think there's a good argument that these organisations are well placed to support the Genetics Centre, but the point is that right here and now they aren't, and we need that funding to be able to keep the Genetics Centre going. So whatever our opinion is on who could and should be funding us, we need additional people to step forward and become a friend. I have also heard people say that the demise of the Canine Genetics Centre is inevitable, and they maybe don't want to spend their own money on an organisation that isn't going to be here long term. Well, again, I'm going to disagree here as well. I think myself and none of my team would be still here if we thought this was true, and I very much I have supreme confidence in that we have enough supporters and we are doing work that's important enough that the Genetics Centre is here for the long term. Perhaps people think that enough other people are already supporting us and maybe, you don't need to bother. A lot of people are supporting us. As I say, hundreds and hundreds of people have donated over the last 18 months, and many people have already signed up to be a friend of the CGC. But, we need more to be able to cross that line and say we are secure for the foreseeable future. We need more people to support us. Perhaps people think that their small donation won't make a difference. And I can tell you that isn't true. Many of the very largest charities that are all very, very familiar to us are primarily funded by very modest monthly donations. So as long as your donation is not zero, it will make a difference, I can promise you. We know that these are financially tough times, and we understand that. And that, asking you to make a donation from your personal finances, for many people, that will be a big ask. But I would just ask you to think about your future life, and if there is a dog in it that might just benefit from the Canine Genetics Centre, please become a friend right now. Don't do it for me, do it for your dogs. And this is how you do it. You just go over to our website, and then pretty much center of the screen is a Become a Friend link. And if you click on that, you'll be taken to this page here on the right. And that big bar at the bottom is what you click to become a friend. And you're taken through the process. It's a very, very simple process. So I think we can do this. I absolutely understand that 1,000 friends is a very ambitious target, but I believe it's within our, within the realms of what we can do. So we will post regular updates on the progress we're making towards those 1,000 friends. We'll do that in two main channels. We have a Facebook page. I know many of you will be following that page already. We also have a newsletter. If you go to our website, at the bottom there in the red circle, contact us, you can sign up there to receive our monthly newsletter. Every friend will receive a personal email from me. I get notified when anybody becomes a friend, so I'd love to be kept busy until the early hours sending out those emails. But I will say that after that initial email, I am not allowed to keep your data and use it for anything else. So if you want to receive further updates from the Genetics Centre, you will need to subscribe to our newsletter. We only send a newsletter out about once a month. We're too busy doing other things to bombard you with lots and lots of emails. So you'll just receive something from us about once a month. So that is really all I'm going to say about this. Please, if you can, help us get to 1,000 friends. Help us cross that all-important line. Thank you very much for listening.